How's it going, guys? It is Glake here, back after a very long time with a new part from the reading for Shadows Before Dawn. I am so sorry I've been absent from this series for, it's gotta be like, almost 2 months now at this point. A lot has been going on, a lot of craziness. Been working on a lot of side projects and getting things ready for the summertime, which is gonna be absolute madness and just crazy busyness for me. Also just got done, I guess, starting the new sort of arc that's going on over on the Phantom Pages, which actually after this I need to do a separate dedicated video for, sort of like a short little announcement video kind of discussing what's going on for 2021 for the Phantom Pages. So yeah, a lot has been going on, and I just haven't really got around to recording the next part from our Shadows Before Dawn series. As of now, however, I think until about mid-June or so, I should have at least a new part out every Wednesday and Friday. That's kind of my plan. Every Tuesday or Wednesday, as well as Friday. So that's sort of my plan, planned schedule going forward. I always said from the get-go that I didn't really want to rush these out. I didn't want to do one like every single day. I wanted to give a little bit of time to, not only for me to process what I read, but also for whoever's checking out the videos. So don't ever expect me to like be dishing a new part of these out every single day. It's just not going to happen. I think a couple times a week is kind of the sweet spot. So that is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. But now we have actual dedicated scheduled days that you can expect these on. So Tuesdays or Wednesdays and Fridays are pretty much a guarantee at this point moving forward. Anyway, so we're doing tool number 10 today. Last part was, what was it? Tool number 9, expressing yourself. Tool number 10 is committing to compassion. I'm actually going to grab my glasses because I haven't been wearing them for the past couple parts, and you know what? I feel like even though I don't look too great with these on, it would really help if I use them. Okay. So, tool number 10 is committing to compassion. First section, a moment-by-moment decision. Most of us are familiar with compassion to some degree. We remember the way we feel for someone we love when they tell us that something has happened that has caused them to suffer. To have compassion is to have sympathetic consciousness of another being's distress, coupled with a desire to alleviate it. In other words, to have compassion for someone is to be aware of, understand, be sensitive to, and care for the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another being. Unfortunately, most of us were also raised with the faulty belief that having compassion for ourselves is the same thing as pitying ourselves, and that self-pity is a selfish, pathetic state of mind. So in accordance with this misconception, we throw out the baby with the bathwater. We do what we were taught good people do. We ignore, suppress, and push through our own pain. Because of this, we do not feel or show ourselves the same compassion that we were taught to feel and give to others. Today you can view this in a new light. Compassion for yourself is really a choice that you can and should make. It's a choice to treat yourself well instead of treating yourself badly in the moment you are in. It's a choice to give yourself it's the choice to give to yourself instead of denying yourself in the moment you are in. It's the choice to focus positively on yourself instead of focusing negatively on yourself in the moment you are in. In this way, compassion is a moment-by-moment decision you make to go either in the direction of self-love or in the direction of self-hate. Many of us fear being nice to ourselves when we have made a mistake or are suffering. We are deeply afraid that if we are self-compassionate, we are condoning our mistakes and will eventually end up being a bad person. The punishment and reward system that we're raised with certainty tells us that this is the case. We've been taught that if we punish people who make mistakes, they will stop making mistakes. So we are taught that when we show ourselves compassion for our mistakes, we are condoning the mistakes we made and will therefore continue to make them. Next section, opening your heart to yourself. Self-punishment in all its various forms is not helpful. It solves nothing and, in fact, only makes things worse. If you think about it for a minute, you will realize you are not making yourself a better person by beating yourself up for your mistakes and through your pain. Instead, all you are doing is causing yourself to feel inadequate and insecure. What's more, we have the tendency that when we make ourselves suffer, we take out our frustrations on the people who are the closest to us. Self-compassion doesn't depend on being special, being above average, or meeting goals, although these are the conditions that we have been taught are necessary in order to deserve love. Self-compassion depends only on the decision we make to show ourselves kindness, care, and love exactly as we are, right here in this very moment. It depends only on opening your heart to yourself. When something happens to us that causes us to suffer, a door to our hearts opens, ready for us to enter and really be with ourselves and be with that pain in order to heal and become more whole. All too often, however, because of conditioning, we ignore this open door and instead distract ourselves from it in some way. We run in the opposite direction of our pain. The last thing we want to do is be with it, much less show it compassionate kindness. But this is what we must do if we want to love ourselves. Part of compassion is the desire to alleviate pain. That is not the same thing as trying to fix it. Showing compassion to ourselves is being willing to see and feel the reality of our pain without covering it up or trying to fix it. When we try to fix our pain, all we are doing is resisting our pain, and whatever we resist tends to persist. When we think we need to fix pain, we are of the opinion that there is something wrong with pain, and there isn't. Pain always has something to teach us. When something happens to someone else that causes them to suffer, we cannot love them and run away from them at the same time. We can't really love them and try to fix their pain for them at the same time, either. If you try to fix someone's pain, they will resist you immediately because they can feel through your actions that you must be thinking it's not okay for you to feel how you feel. Instead, showing love means being with them and showing them compassionate kindness while you allow them to be with and process their own pain. It works the same way when we are in pain. We can't love ourselves and run away from ourselves at the same time, and we can't love ourselves and try to resist our pain by trying to fix it at the same time. Instead, showing love to ourselves means being with ourselves when we are in pain, allowing ourselves to feel it, and showing both ourselves and our pain compassionate kindness. This is what ultimately heals us. This is the only way to move from a state of pain to a state of joy. Next section, practicing self-compassion. So as you see, self-compassion is not self-pity. Self-compassion is the willingness to be with yourself as a loving companion when you are in pain. It's a state of deep connection with yourself. You can practice self-compassion whenever you feel negative emotion. The next time you feel negative emotion, try the following exercise. Stop doing whatever you are doing and sit down. Close your eyes and take 5 deep, slow breaths in a row. When you breathe in, fill your lungs with their full capacity and then hold the breath for 7 seconds. When you release your breath, do so slowly. Fully own what you are feeling, as well as everything that you thought, said, and did. Then fully admit to the truth of the circumstances that happened. Don't rehash it in your mind. Don't focus on wishing it hadn't happened. Don't focus on thinking that it shouldn't have happened. Don't resist the fact that it did happen. Resisting is a waste of your energy. Own the fact that you are where you are and that whatever happened, happened. Next, turn your focus inward toward the feeling. When you do this, name the emotions, sensations, images, sounds, and impressions associated with the feeling. Experience the feeling as if you are exploring a thing rather than a state of being. These sensations are meant to be acknowledged. What's more, they must be acknowledged in order to be processed. Ask the feeling what it needs what it needs you to know. Look deeply into the experience for the pain for what it's trying to tell you. For example, your pain may say to you, "You're ignoring me. I don't want you to do what you're trying to make me do. Why are you forcing yourself to do something that doesn't feel good?" Acknowledge that you hear the message, and what's more than that, have gratitude for its expression. Condense the feeling into a single image. For example, this image could be a chasm in a snowfield, or a small child crying on a park bench. Allow yourself to bring that image to resolution. This is an intuitive exercise. There is no right or wrong image. So let your mind tell you what image represents the feeling, and let yourself be inspired to work with that image in any way that causes you to feel better emotionally. So, for example, if the image of the feeling you're experiencing is a chasm in a snowfield, you may feel inspired to mentally visualize filling up that chasm with something. If the image of the feeling is a small child crying on a park bench, you may feel inspired to mentally visualize walking over and holding that child in your arms and speaking calming words to the child. You may visualize giving the small child a warm home with a family that loves this child. Follow the visualization all the way until you feel a deep sensation of relief. Then take a deep breath, wiggle your toes and fingers, and bring your attention back into the room. Reflect upon what you have just experienced. Does this process generate any insights for you? Look at what the feeling was trying to tell you and what it needed you to know. Are there any changes that you see are necessary to make in your life? Having done this exercise, how could you show love to yourself right now? One of the most powerful demonstrations of self-love is to step into a state of compassion toward yourself. Show yourself compassion whenever you feel negative emotion, regardless of what negative emotion is. Doing so enables you to be present with yourself and your truth. It enables you to find healing not by resisting your pain, but by allowing and transforming it. Alright, and that's the end of tool number 10. So another part I would say that's pretty much very heavily focused on, how can I say this? Pretty much really heavily focused on, I guess, being gentle with yourself. Showing compassion for yourself is like one of those really basic steps, I guess. I guess that we all struggle with, because it's really hard, especially for me personally. It's really hard, not to beat yourself up when you feel like you've made a mistake, or you feel like you couldn't reach a certain goal, or you're short of something, whatever it might be. It's really hard not to beat yourself up sometimes. It's like almost a sort of impossible task, and I always say this all the time, like society, I feel like really glorifies suffering to a pretty great degree. I think nowadays with, I guess the importance of mental health sort of being at the forefront now a little bit more than it used to be, especially, even though I feel like now it's more of a trendy thing now. I don't really think people take it all that seriously, because a lot of things people do just kind of contradicts the whole, mental health awareness sort of thing. But I guess just because people are talking about it in general is a step in the right direction at least. But yeah, like I definitely feel like we live in a very suffering glorified society. It's even worse in other places in the world, outside of the West. So I think reading this and, knowing that, instead of resisting all these things that you're feeling, just being present with it and just sort of walking yourself through it, and, not forcing yourself to just, not forcing yourself to deal with it in unhealthy ways, like, oh, okay, I deserve to be feeling this, or I gotta push whatever I'm feeling out of the way, gotta move forward. Like, it's, I guess, important if you want healing at least to sort of be present with these things first and foremost, and, take whatever steps from there to then move forward. But being present with the situation first is, I guess, the main foundation, basic step of healing. So that's kind of what I got out of this. Tool number 11 is going to be the love letter. That seems pretty interesting. About the same length as tool number 10. So, yeah, that's going to be the next one that I do on Friday. You guys let me know what you thought of tool number 10 down in the comments below. Would definitely like to hear your thoughts. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please be sure to do so you don't miss out on all of the future uploads and readings and whatnot. And I'll catch you guys in the next part. Thanks for watching. Take care.